Well, congratulations, America. Another mass school shooting. Clearly, there's a problem. Yet, it seems that every time there's a problem nowadays, all we do as a people is argue with each other about whose opinion matters more, until, of course, we get bored. So, as someone that has a vested interest in not being involved in a mass shooting, this concerns me. Now, if I'm a parent, semi-regular school shootings is the sort of nightmare that Satan himself conjures up. Just builds it with his Legos of evil. And yet, here we are, predictable as the shitty quality of a microwavable pizza, focusing on fighting with each other. Again! This time over gun control. Which, to give credit where credit's due, is at least a better focus than blaming Marilyn Manson, like we did during school shootings beta stage, but it still feels like it's all for naught because no one wants to find a middle ground. So I'm guessing America just isn't ready to make those kind of changes. Okay, fine. So both sides just yell and scream till the media stops paying attention, and then the argument dies down without any solution, and we remain at a standstill like two fat guys playing tug of war, neither budging until they both get winded, and then they just go off to the buffet table. This is a Twilight Zone moral that we're just not getting as a society. So listen, if we can't agree on the gun thing, then let's just put the whole gun debate to the side for now. Let's just forget it for a moment. All right? And this includes the proposed idea of arming every school, which I understand, but it seems like we're just dipping further into the extreme here. Let's arm teachers. Let's get armed militia. Let's put armed vets for every school. Every school gets one. Guys, what the fuck are we talking about here? What the fuck are we talking about? If we get to the point where everybody has a gun, then aren't we back to the Wild West? Only with better dental? And by the way, you armed teachers, it won't be the students shooting up schools, okay? Plus, just to remind you, Columbine had an armed guard. Didn't exactly discourage the situation, all right? Just because you have a sprinkler system doesn't mean a fire won't start. And it doesn't mean stuff won't get burnt, all right? Less burnt? Yeah, perhaps. But still, burnt. So maybe we should talk about how to avoid the fire altogether and stop bitching at each other. All right, let's focus more on preventative medicine. So first off, looking into the latest incident and a few of the others over the last 20 years, my initial inkling is to wonder, would this have happened if somebody gave this motherfucker a hug the day before? All right, what if the cool kids struck up a conversation with him about who his favorite Pokemon is, or whatever the hell kids talk about? What if someone invited him to the movies, right? Picked him for the dodgeball team, taught him how to box, right? Invited him to go play hoodlewinks or whatever. I mean, just showed acceptance rather than bullying. Would he have still done it? Maybe. Maybe not. Who's to know? But, I mean, and don't get me wrong, evil is evil, crazy is crazy. And some people are just crazy. But sometimes crazy is an evolution that can be interrupted and refocused. I mean, you look at these dudes who go shooting places up, all dudes, mind you, all right? It's a regular trench cock mafia. And what do a lot of these kids have in common? They're loners, outcasts, unaccepted, marginalized. So our solution has gone from blaming gimmicky music to blaming guns, but there's no conversation on what the hell is up in this country with all these kids feeling so isolated, right? Being pushed to the brink. What's causing this? All right? And it's not just one cause. It can't be. It can't be just guns. It can't be. All right? There's got to be many causes. Many. All right? And they're merging together to create dangerous concoctions that are turning the U.S. into a really fucked up game of duck hunt. Now, the closest thing I've seen to a communal response to ostracized kids is the Don't Be a Bully campaign that was popular a while back. which was as cheesy as the Don't Do Drugs campaign of the 80s, which also didn't work. Okay? Nancy Reagan says, don't do drugs. Oh, okay, no problem. Can you just inscribe that on my crack pipe? People are not going to stop bullying because old people tell them to stop bullying. Okay? Telling bullies not to bully is going to be about as effective as telling your sponge to go wash your toilet. It doesn't work that way. All right? Some people are bullies. Some people will even remain bullies well into their adulthood. All right? How many of you have had a boss on a power trip, yells at everybody, makes everybody fear for their jobs? Like, he's Mr. Big Badass. Look at Lord Dickwad with the pink slips, pushes employees all around. And yet at the end of the day, when everybody's left and the silence sinks in, Lord Dickwad locks himself in the office and cries tears of loneliness into his stupid chest hair. Just like the victims of bullying get messed up mentally, bullies also tend to be messed up mentally. All right? Doesn't mean they're evil, doesn't mean they're crazy per se, but there's some wires that aren't connecting right. I mean, come on, the whole thing's outlined in the Breakfast Club. So maybe we can go back to the basics and figure out how to alleviate these social problems and proactively help prevent kids from feeling so ostracized, feeling like such outcasts that they feel like they got to go kill people. Maybe we can look at what these kids are doing that makes them feel like pariahs, or what they're doing to be treated like pariahs. Give them a voice so we can identify what's wrong before they go all whack job McNutcase on everyone. I mean, if other students are profiling a kid as the one who's going to shoot up the school, then that means there are signs. And the communities aren't addressing it. Probably because we don't know how. So let's figure out some way to address them. All right, let's figure out a way to find these kids, identify why they feel rage and sadness and a desire for revenge. Because the rage that these school shooters feel is clearly deep-rooted. It's got to be to go so extreme. All right, it's not like that, moderate anger that you and I feel when we're running on the treadmill and Spotify plays a Katy Perry song. It's not that. This seems like a hopeless, bitter anger. All right? The good thing is that a lot of times rage can be managed, perhaps even easier than it is to manage guns. Maybe we can create more positive outlets for kids like this, right? The sort that gives them attention, but not just attention, gives them a focus, right? Things to look forward to, a sense of purpose, a sense of community. All right, now, look, that doesn't mean we go find every awkward loner kid and force them into the Shakespeare Club against their will, because that is only going to make them eventually blow up faster and even more dramatically. All right? And when it happens, it'll probably happen in iambic pentameter. We don't need that. I mean, we need something enticing and encouraging and interesting and empowering for these kids. All right, so let's get some smart minds and figure out how to take these people who are on the brink and give them a voice before the gun becomes their microphone. All right, now, don't get me wrong. I'm not naive. I'm not saying that this is the panacea for all problems. It's going to solve everything. No. All right, we all know it's not. Not in any kind of way. But it's at least something to be done rather than just bitching at each other about gun control, like two angry grandmothers bickering over a misplaced coupon. I mean, let's reset the narrative. Let's stop looking to politicians to fix things, because they won't. Right? They're too busy playing political cockblocks, so just let them be. Let them play their games. Fine, whatever. Instead, let's us, okay, get some bright, insightful sociologists, psychologists, coaches, entrepreneurs, artists. Let's get them on board. All right? Let's create a legitimate justice league and find the solutions ourselves. All right? For each of our individual communities, because what works for one community may not work for the next. That's why it can't be just a countrywide solution. We can't just say, America's got a problem. Communities have to do it, and then collectively, as they do, as a country, we're fixing the problem. We work together. We find the solution. We, the people. Because regardless of what side of what issue anybody stands on, most people seem to agree that there needs to be some sort of change. And the funny thing about change is that it's a process that has to start somewhere. All right? We need people in every community to step up and be leaders. And maybe that leader can be you. So, what do you think? Let's get this started, Captain.